Hello, and at the moment I'm currently drinking some decaf coffee at 10 p.m. I don't know how decaf coffee before bed is going to affect me, but I do feel sleepy. So it doesn't seem to be bothering me that much. But I have never drank coffee before bed. This is decaf, by the way. So I don't think it's going to keep me up. I think there is a very small amount of caffeine in it, and not a whole lot. So, what I was going to talk about is my channel as far as the videos that I make. And I've been trying to decide on if I want to make more time-lapse videos or just kind of talk over the videos and just have that on there with me. Just recording certain sections of it. And I've gone over this before, which is that there's certain types of videos that they do better, they get more views, more watch time and all of that. But at what point is there any point in making any videos if you're just doing it for likes and watch time and following and everything? I just kind of want to make the things that I enjoy making, make the type of videos that I want to make, draw when I want, not be so pressured to make certain things. And I do notice that if drawing starts to become a chore that it feels like it's just a lot of work, I don't feel as motivated to do it. If I go to do something as far as editing a video and uploading it, if I start thinking about, I've got to edit this audio a certain way and do all this, and I've got to have everything planned out to, maybe get more views or whatever else. And, there's times where I've tried to watch videos on, tips for how to make your videos better, make the audio better, all these different things. But at the end of the day, it's really just about doing the type of content that you enjoy. Because I wouldn't really see much of a point in doing it if I didn't enjoy it at all. Now, the difference would be something like if you had to make content that brings in more views or whatever so you can pay your bills. That is, if you're somebody that all of your income is from being an online content creator. But a lot of us just have our regular 9-to-5 job. And I think that if I didn't have the regular 9-to-5 job, I would just be drawing a lot more and making a lot more content. Because then I would have a different sleep schedule, and my whole mind would just be consumed by drawing. And that's pretty much mostly what I would think about. Depending on the job that you have, your job might involve you having to reply to calls or messages and things outside of work, and then that gets to be time consuming. So then when you try to take a break from it, it never really feels like you ever have a break from your job. And then that takes away from being able to focus on other things outside of it. And then it starts to get stressful. And there's a point to where, depending on the income that you have, that it's how much stress is really worth it to make, an extra 25 cents or 50 cents an hour, whatever the amount is. I think kind of at that point it might not really be worth it. Anyways, I'm kind of going off on a random tangent here, and I didn't have anything planned for this. There's so many times I just turn this microphone on and just talk about completely random things. And a lot of kind of boring stuff, I guess, like me sitting here drinking coffee or, well, I guess maybe that's not boring. I mean, it could be exciting for some people, like if they're like really into coffee, all these different type of coffee beans and different flavors and, light roast and medium light roast, medium dark roast, extra dark roast, all those different flavors. And this is like a French roast. It says that it has a nutty flavor, and but the coffee beans, they're more of a light brown color, and this other coffee that I got, it's in this huge bag of coffee, and they're the coffee beans, and this here is also coffee beans. It was made for the decaf. I just used my coffee grinder, and I put my coffee beans in it. I grind it up, and I set it to fine. You've got like different settings for it and everything on the grinder. I set it to fine, and then after it finishes, I push the button again, and I let it grind twice until it's extra fine. And then I use that for my coffee. I think it's a lot fresher and tastes a little bit better than getting the pre-ground coffee. There must be some type of, I don't know, is it like a chemical reaction or something with the coffee beans? Why they smell so much better and taste so much better when I grind them myself as compared to when I just buy the pre-ground coffee. I have coffee beans that is regular, and I have coffee grinds that is regular, that have decaf coffee that is grinds, and have decaf that is beans. And I noticed the beans, the coffee, when I grind them up, they smell better and taste a little bit better. And I'm trying to get an amount of coffee that's okay for me. I think I had too much coffee this morning. When I have too much coffee, I kind of get this sort of anxiety feeling. I do notice that if I'm stressed and I have a lot of on my mind, and if I have coffee, like especially if it's too much coffee, it kind of makes it worse in a way. Like I can focus on doing drawing more, but then I just feel like I just need to move around a whole bunch, and then I just feel like a lot of anxiety then, and then I can't relax unless I sit in my reclining chair. I don't know if I've mentioned that before, but for some reason I fall asleep a lot easier in my reclining chair than I do in my bed. I think one of the reasons might be the position that I'm laying. I can only fall asleep in my bed if I'm laying on my side, and it's always on my left side. I try to fall asleep on my right side, and I can, but after maybe 5 minutes of laying on my right side, I feel uncomfortable, and I have to lay on my left side and fall asleep. And then the very rare occasions that I'm able to fall asleep on my right side, I end up just waking up 10 minutes later and then rolling over to my left side. I don't know if there's some kind of reason for that. Maybe it has something to do with our organs, like our liver, kidneys, or something. I don't know. Our stomach. I wonder what the reason would be. I'm going to have to look that up and figure that out now. And Even though I had coffee this morning, I got up early at about 6 a.m., made some coffee, and I made a lot more than usual. I usually fill it to the line where it says 4. It says 4 cups, but it must be just the measured cups. Because anytime I ever thought of a cup of coffee, I actually thought of a coffee mug full of coffee as 1 cup. That's not the appropriate amount for measuring it. It's the actual measured cups. But I fill it to the 4 cup mark, and that's how much I usually drink. But this morning, I filled it to 6.5, and that extra 2.5 measured cups felt like a lot more caffeine, a huge difference. And I felt kind of like anxiety, and I couldn't really relax. So then I sat in my reclining chair at about noon, and I felt extremely tired all of a sudden. It wasn't a crash from the caffeine. It was just instantly, as soon as I sat in that reclining chair, I just want to fall asleep. And more so in the days after I work. I come home and eat, and as soon as I sit down in that reclining chair, I fall asleep. And there's been many days where I wake up, or when you're laying in bed, or you're just sitting in a chair and you don't remember if you fell asleep or what happened for the past couple of hours, but there's been a few times where I don't even know what happened for the past 6 hours. And I look at the clock, and maybe only 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours pass by. And the strange thing for me is that it's very hard for me to actually sleep during the day or even take a nap. And all the times that I think of taking a nap, I'm not even sleeping. I'm just sitting there, laying there, very tired. But I'm so relaxed that I think I slept a couple of hours. And then I look at the clock, and only like 2 minutes has passed by. And it felt like it's been several hours. And then I'm just confused and sleepy. Yes, this is the life of an artist, talking about coffee and falling asleep in my reclining chair. Although, I do think that I'm going to try to sleep in the reclining chair again tonight. It's comfortable. I've tried drawing in the reclining chair, but I get too relaxed and then I want to fall asleep. But when I'm just drawing at my drawing table, my feet start to get cold because I feel like there's not getting enough circulation because I'm sitting in one spot. So when I'm drawing, I'll get up about every 15 or 30 minutes and I'll walk around, get something to eat, something to drink. And then I'll sit down and draw. And drawing in the reclining chair, it keeps my neck and my back from hurting me. My back doesn't hurt, it just kind of gets irritated feeling, and it's not quite as comfortable. And so then I just kind of go back and forth between drawing at my drawing table and drawing in my reclining chair. Because I get sleepy. And then my feet are warm because I moved around and I'm laying in a reclining chair and my feet are elevated, but then I want to fall asleep. So I go back to my drawing table to draw. And I'm more awake, but then my feet feel cold. So then I have to try to use a heating pad. And right now where I live, it seems like we have all 4 seasons all in one day. This week it's going to snow. And then 2 days later, Well, it's going to go from being in the low 20s, and then 2 days later, it's going to be like 80 to 85 degrees. So there are days where you might need a heater, an air conditioner, an umbrella, snow boots, a blanket, sandals, all on the same day. And a raincoat maybe. And gloves. The weather's so unpredictable. But as far as my taste in coffee, I don't really have a particular kind that I completely prefer. I mean, I haven't really tried that many different ones. There is a French roast and Colombian. I think those are really the only two that I've really been drinking or tried the past couple of years. So I don't really drink that much coffee. I don't really have to. I'm really sensitive to caffeine, so it doesn't take that much. So when I made my coffee with the 6.5 cups, I don't use the same amount of coffee grinds or coffee beans for my coffee. I'm probably using 5 times less coffee grinds than the average person would use to get the same effect from the caffeine. So let's say for me, my 4 cups of coffee with the amount of coffee grinds I use would be equal to 20 cups of coffee. Oh wait, do I have that backwards? I don't know. Anyways, it's getting late. It's getting harder for me to think. Which reminds me, what do you do in the middle of the day when you have work that you want to get done, and out of nowhere you just get incredibly sleepy? Like, just out of nowhere. And it's not because you didn't eat. It's not because of anything with your diet. You're just out of nowhere extremely sleepy. But you have work you want to get done, and you keep trying to focus on it. And then you lay down, or you sit in your reclining chair, you lay in your bed, and then 5 minutes later, all of a sudden, you have energy again. And then you're like, huh. Then you stand up, and go back to work on something. And like, not even 2 minutes later, all of a sudden, you're sleepy again. And then you go back and lay in the bed. That seems to happen to me all the time. I don't know why. I don't have a TV or anything in my bedroom, and I always dim the lights before I go to bed. And this decaf coffee, as I said, I've never drank decaf coffee past 6 p.m. I'm kind of trying this to see how I feel if I drink it before bed, but I am sleepy right now. But as far as being sleepy randomly in a day for absolutely no reason, I've tried to figure out what the reasoning is for that. Because regardless of if I have caffeine or not, it still happens. Now, I haven't really drank that much coffee at all ever. I never even started drinking regular coffee until the past year. And as far as the caffeine amount I get per week, if you take an average coffee drinker, and I don't mean average as in someone that drinks like a pot of coffee a day, but someone that just has 1 cup of coffee a day. If you take the amount of caffeine that is in that 1 cup that they make, probably takes me 1 to 2 weeks worth of coffee that I drink to get that same amount of caffeine because they put more in it. So it's not that, and I've always had this issue for most of my life that I just randomly get tired during the day for no reason. And I used to think maybe it was because of blood sugar levels or something, but I've had that tested and it's all completely normal. And so it's not that. I thought maybe it's because of my sleep, but I've had several different jobs throughout my life, and some of them I worked far less hours, and I would just sleep my 8 hours as always, and I would I've always ate a really good, well-rounded diet of food and everything. I wouldn't really call it a diet. I mean, I'm not trying to lose weight or anything. I've actually always been trying to gain weight and gain muscle. I have an issue with that, but what was I saying? I almost forgot it because I'm getting sleepy. I was trying to remember my point. Yeah, I was talking about getting sleepy randomly. Oh, I remember. So I was talking about the blood sugar levels. Everything is completely normal. I've had that tested. It's not my diet. I get all the vitamins and minerals and everything. Sodium amount's fine. I drink enough water. I exercise. I meditate. I relax. I get my 8 hours of sleep. I get a normal sleeping pattern, which I go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. I dim the lights before bed. I get lots of sunlight when I first wake up in the morning. I eat a good breakfast. I control the amount of carbohydrates I get throughout the day, the amount of sugars and everything I get. I don't eat anything that has added sugars or anything. The only sugars I get is from fruits and maybe milk. That's it. I've even tried taking milk out of my diet completely, but when I tried that, I just lost too much weight and I just felt like I didn't have any physical strength at all. That's probably just due to the protein and extra fats and everything in it. Because if I replace that with something else to get all the carbohydrates and all that, I have to eat a lot of rice. And if I eat a lot of rice, I just feel super sleepy because of all the carbs, extra carbs in it. Because anytime I do eat, I always get really sleepy after it. That probably has something to do with my high metabolism. Especially if I eat something that's really high in carbohydrates, like spaghetti or something like that. Within about 30 minutes or less after that, like 15 minutes, I feel really tired. And I used to think that might have been the reason why I would get randomly sleepy during the day, and so I would try to adjust my carbohydrate intake. And I can't cut it back or get rid of it. I've tried to completely replace it by, we've all heard of, I think everybody's heard of the keto diet and all that. And I've tried that before, but it just makes me more stressed and I don't have any energy and I just lose a lot of muscle. And then I can't think very well. And then I just lose too much weight. So it's not that. And at this point, I'm not really sure why I get so randomly sleepy at random times during the day. It's not... It's kind of like the feeling that you get when like before you go, like when you're going to bed at night, you know the feeling that you get right before you fall asleep, where like you're just relaxed and you're close to falling asleep. I feel like that at random times during the day. For example, if I'm at work and let's say I'm working an 8-hour shift, and after I'm at work for 3.5 or 4 hours, about halfway through, I'll stop and take my break. And as soon as I sit down and I stop moving around, I feel extremely sleepy. So I thought maybe it's because of circulation. But I exercise, my blood pressure and heart rate's completely normal. So it's not that. And even with exercise and everything, I can randomly get sleepy. For example, I can go do some light exercise for 15 minutes, or go to the gym real quick for 30 minutes and not train hard where I'm exhausted or sweating and everything. Just do light exercise. And then an hour later, all of a sudden, I'm extremely sleepy. And it doesn't matter if I exercise or don't exercise, or if I eat more, if I eat less. I don't know. It just gets to be kind of a bit of an annoyance when I want to get things done and do stuff. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure it all out. It's all a mystery to me. I'm not really sure. And another thing is that drawing helps me relax and focus. It helps me get my mind off of stuff. So when I sit down to do some drawing, I suddenly start feeling sleepy about 15 minutes later, sometimes 30 minutes later, where I suddenly get that feeling that I feel right before I fall asleep, like in my mind and my body just feels really sleepy. And then so I'll stop drawing, I'll get up, move around, and I still feel kind of tired. And then I'll just try to force myself to keep drawing, but then it gets to the point where I can't focus. I mean, I'm focused on the drawing, but I'm just overwhelmed by tiredness. And so then I'll just stop and lay down. And I lay down. And then 10 minutes later, I have energy again. And I can't fall asleep because I'm more awake. And then I get up, I go back to draw. 10 minutes later, I'm sleepy. I don't know. And then I thought maybe it's the position that I'm sitting that's making me sleepy, because I started thinking about circulation. And I thought, well, maybe it's because has something to do with elevation, or like having your feet propped up or something. So I would draw, and then if I started feeling sleepy, I would just lay down on the floor and prop my feet up on the table so that my legs and my feet are up way higher than where my heart is. And I would just lay there for 10 minutes and then try to go back to drawing. That didn't make a difference. So it's not circulation. Trying to think of what else it could be. It's not what I'm eating. It's not sleep. It's not sugar. It's not sodium. It's not my sleeping pattern. I go to bed and wake up at the same time. It's not because of caffeine, because I get so little amount of it. Except for today, I drank a little bit more, but it wasn't that much. And I've tried no coffee, tried decaf coffee, and I've tried with coffee, and it doesn't matter. I just get like that during the day. And as I said, I haven't really started drinking coffee until the past year, and it's been like this my whole life. I don't know. Maybe there's some kind of underlying stress or something that I don't realize is there subconsciously, and I'm just, somehow dealing with it subconsciously, but not thinking about it. And so I actually am very stressed, but I don't know it. And so that's just making me randomly tired. So then maybe when I draw, I'm relaxed because I can finally be relaxed and then I get sleepy. I'm not sure. And at this point, I don't even know how I got onto this topic. Because right now I'm getting more sleepy. And another thing that's kind of strange is that it does seem like I can talk about more random topics if I'm really calm and relaxed, kind of sleepy feeling, or if I'm hyper. Like if I have some coffee in the morning and then I start recording something, talking about whatever for a video, I talk really fast and I've got so many things going through my mind. But then now when I'm sleepy at night, I feel more relaxed to talk about something than if it's just in the middle of the day to where I'm not kind of energized or hyper or tired. So if I'm just my, in between average self, I feel like I have a harder time trying to think of what to talk about or what to say in a video. I kind of start to feel I feel indecisive, sort of, unless I'm really tired or hyper. I don't know. I think there was some study I read one time. I don't know where it was from. I'm still drinking some of my decaf. I don't feel like this is having any effect on me. Because I don't use that many coffee grinds. It's 99.9% caffeine free. And if I want to really fall asleep easier, I just make chamomile tea. And that makes me more relaxed. But I don't know, there's some study I read somewhere one time about, they were talking about creativity and being more creative when they're sleepy. But I thought about that and I was like, that doesn't sound like a good idea for your overall health long term. I think if you try to just do creative stuff all the time right before bed, then maybe be hard to get anything done. I think if I tried that, I wouldn't be able to, I just get to a point where I just can't think and I'm just so tired. I just lay down. Which I think I'm close to that point right now. And I didn't think that I was going to talk this long about completely random topics. I talked about coffee, my random bouts of sleepiness, and a reclining chair. Mundane random topics about random stuff. What's next? I'm going to talk 3 hours about my coffee mug. I probably could do that sometime. Just pick something random around me and talk about it for an hour. My coffee mug, my technical pen, my surround sound speakers, my Rotring technical pen ink, my sketchbook. Oh, I think some of those I could talk about for months, like my pen, my Rotring ink. It's like when you're laying in bed at night and you need to fall asleep. And it's when you have something to do the next day that is important, like a job interview or let's say you're going to go somewhere. Whatever it is that's something new or important, you start thinking about it. The longer you lay in your bed, then the more hyper feeling you get, the more energized and focused. Your mind is just racing. And you keep looking over the clock. And the time just keeps passing by faster and faster. And then eventually you get up. And you think to yourself, I'm tired of laying here and being hyper and not falling asleep. I'm just going to get up and do something and be productive. And by that point, it's 3 a.m. You've got to get up at 5 a.m. Then out of nowhere, after you've laid there for about 4 or 5 hours, trying to sleep, you get up, try to do something productive for 10 minutes. Then all of a sudden you're sleepy. And then you go lay back down. And then you can't sleep. That gets to be annoying. There's got to be some kind of psychological reason for that. I think when it comes to a lot of topics, there's a lot of things that I know about completely random stuff because I'm always listening to podcasts and just different random things. I never actually really read. I mean, I read stuff online, but I never actually ever read books because when I try to read books, my mind tends to want to create its own story of it. And then I start forgetting what I actually read. Or I'll overthink it when I read it. And then I try to imagine it in my mind. And then I remember it wrong because something I read in the book might be similar to something that happened in my life. And then I'll try to think back on it. And then I'll get confused and then I'll forget. Sometimes I feel like my brain is like a computer hard drive that is almost completely full, and the only way that you can put more memory on it or add more information is if I take more information out. Like if I want to learn how to do something new, it's like every time I try to learn something new, I forget something else. I had this job that I worked at one time, a long time ago. And some of the things that we had to do in the job was a little bit different. And I was really focused in trying to learn the new things. Then out of nowhere one day, I just completely forgot my clock-in number. And I was thinking about it. I just could not remember. So then I retraced my steps. Well, they weren't actually drawn out on the floor. That would be kind of strange if that actually happened. But I kind of went back outside, didn't even think about it, and then just clocked in. But when I tried to think about what my clock-in number was, I could not remember it. But if I just did it automatically, without thinking, it was as if the muscle memory in my hand and my mind just knew what the number was. But, as I said, I try to learn some new things, and I feel like I just start forgetting more stuff. Like with my drawing, I tried to learn more stuff with video editing and all that. And as I tried to learn more with the video editing, I started randomly forgetting other things in my life. Because I was focused on getting better with that and with all the video editing. So, I'm trying to think of how to explain this. Well, I think I kind of laid out the foundation of it to where it sort of feels like my mind is a computer's hard drive that is on full. Like when you're using your computer and the hard drive is pretty much full, you have to delete files or delete things from the recycle bin and go to your control panel and what's that thing called? Defragment hard drive and all that stuff. Yeah. I guess that's really the only way I can think to compare it. I don't know. I mean, is that even normal? Does that happen to other people? Where you try to learn something new and you start completely randomly forgetting random things for no reason? I mean, I do have the reason. It's just it doesn't quite make sense why that happens. Like when I tried to do all the video editing and learn a bunch about it, I was really focused on that, trying to learn it and remember everything about, the color grading and all the transitions of the one frame to another video section, and clipping out a video section, adding it, and all that complicated stuff. And then I just started forgetting random stuff like the clock and number for work. Questioning myself if I actually remembered my address or something, or forgetting just random stuff. I'm trying to think of what else there was. It is kind of stuff like that. It was mostly just number stuff I randomly forgot. Although I've never forgot to tie my shoe or something. That would it's mostly just muscle memory. I think if I got to that point, I would be like, well, why am I forgetting how to tie my shoe? That's pretty basic, There's like a million different ways to do that. I have seen other people tie their shoes before, and they'll do it so complicated. I'm like, huh. I don't even remember who or how I even learned how to tie my shoe. Like, who taught me? I've pretty much just been doing it the same way my whole life. I'll like take one part of the side of the shoelace, make like a little loop. I'll take another one, like the string, I'll wrap it around that loop and go through and under, and I pull both sides. Kind of like a bow, sort of. And if you want to keep it from, you can double knot it, but to keep it from getting to where the knot doesn't come apart, you'll double knot it. Like, you'll take both loops that are like what they call like the bunny ears, or the like a bow tie, and you'll take those, tie them over each other, pull them through, and then to keep your shoe from getting like knotted or where the strings won't come apart because they're too tight together. Which I haven't really double knotted my shoes in a while. Maybe if I'm going, I don't know, for a long walk in the woods or something, maybe, just so my shoe doesn't come off. But as long as you pull the shoelace from, I think it's like either the left or right side, whatever string, then it just comes apart and it doesn't get knotted up. But I don't know. I think some things are just the more, like, some stuff, the more complex you try to make it, the less it makes sense. Like, some stuff that's so simple seems like there'd be such a simple answer to it, but it's so complex, and the things that are complex are such a simple answer. And I think the answer that I have right now is that I'm going to go to bed and get myself some sleep. I don't even know how long I've been rambling on about completely random stuff. And I don't even know what I'm going to do with this audio. If I'm going to put it into a time-lapse drawing video. That'd be a long time-lapse drawing video. I'd have to draw for like a week or 2 weeks. But anyways, we'll see when we get to that point. And I'm gonna get ready to go to bed. Hopefully you all are having a great day. Although right now I'm actually just talking to myself. I'm sitting here looking at my umbrella light in the wall and speaking into my microphone. In a way, it's like you're listening to this and you've traveled back in time. If you're listening to it, does that make you a time traveler? I don't know. Anyways, you all have a good night, or it could be morning wherever you are. And which reminds me, if you're on an airplane or a space shuttle, and whatever the speed of the Earth is rotating, if you stay at the same speed as that and travel in the opposite direction that the Earth is rotating, that means theoretically you could permanently have a sunrise or a sunset or daylight or always dark at night if you kept that same speed that you're traveling. And I don't know why I'm thinking of this. I have no idea what that had in relation with anything that I was talking about, because I don't remember the point I was trying to make or what I was talking about, because I'm sleepy. And I don't remember I can't think of anything for more than 3 sentences ago. So that means it's time for me to go to bed. Anyways, you all have a good night. And I always say I'll talk to you later, but you're not actually talking to me. You're just maybe commenting on videos. So we'll message later, or I'll just turn my microphone on again. I'll be talking to myself, and you'll travel back in time and listen to this audio. Anyways, you have a good night, and I will speak with you all later. Good night.